יום זה לישראל אורה ושמחה, שבת שבת מנוחה, שבת שבת מנוחה. Your gift to those who strive with you is joy and light. This day is light and joy for Israel. You have blessed this day above all others. Shabbat, Shabbat, Menucha. Shabbat, Shabbat, Menucha. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Shabbat, Shabbat, Menucha. Shabbat, Shabbat, Menucha. Yom ze liYisrael ora v'simcha, ora v'simcha. Shabbat, Menucha. Yom ze liYisrael ora v'simcha, Shabbat, Shabbat, Menucha. Shabbat, Shabbat, Menucha. Shabbat, Shabbat, Menucha. Shabbat, Shabbat, Menucha.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. It's good to be with all of you, our members, our guests. Welcome, everybody. Those of you who are joining us online, we're so pleased to have you with us. However you are able to pray with us for this Shabbat as we gather together as a community here at Temple Emanu-El. So, a few things before we get started. Beneath your seats, you will find our Sidurim. It is the blue book that says Mishkan Tefillah. If this is your first time, reach underneath the seats for our prayer book. There are two blue books, not very creative with our color covers. One says the Torah, and one says Mishkan Tefillah. The Torah is a very good book, but we're not going to be using that tonight, so make sure that you have Mishkan Tefillah in your hands. And then let's also take a moment to make sure all of our electronic devices, watches, cell phones, iPads are all turned off. They're all not going to disturb you or anyone around you so that we can all feel connected to one another and not connected to the 5G antennas outside of the synagogue and to the world around us, and just focus for a brief time on our prayers here together. I want to make sure that everyone is aware we have exits to my left, to my right, and in the case of we have to hustle out of here quickly, there's an exit in the rear and behind the ark behind me. I want to give a special welcome to the Joss family and for Sophia Joss for becoming bat mitzvah this weekend, this Shabbat. And so mazal tov to you and to your whole family. I'm very, very glad. This is a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Let's take a moment to introduce ourselves to those who are around us. My name is Rabbi Max Miller. I'm here with our cantorial soloist, Jessica Tillum. Turn to someone who you didn't drive here with that maybe you don't even know. We have name tags on. Introduce yourself. Say Shabbat Shalom.
Israel, ora v'simcha, ora v'simcha, Shabbat menucha. Yom ze liYisrael, ora v'simcha, Shabbat, Shabbat menucha. Shabbat, Shabbat menucha.
So we've all come here from different parts of the city, different activities, school, work, maybe we just woke up from a nap. However you came here, we're going to leave everything that was outside of this space outside so that we can concentrate on ourselves, on this community that we build each and every Shabbat. And so we're going to start that off by closing our eyes if you'd like, or finding a place to fix your gaze and take a few breaths together. So make sure your back is comfortable against the chair, Your feet are nice and grounded. Close your eyes if you'd like and take a deep breath in and out. We allow ourselves to go deeper into the feeling of Shabbat, this time that we have set aside for ourselves, for our own spiritual work, for our own well-being. Deep breath in and out. Take a third breath in. We imagine the beauty of Shabbat, all that is possible in this time, these 25 hours that we have to rest, to relax, to rejuvenate ourselves. Deep breath in and out. It's my pleasure to invite up Sophia Joss and Cheryl and Beverly and Tammy to light our Shabbat candles as we welcome in Shabbat. And we are going to be on page 120, and I'd like to ask everyone else to please rise.
As these candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give the light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. May we be blessed with Shabbat joy. May we be blessed with Shabbat peace. May we be blessed with Shabbat light. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitchanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'chadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Sophia. I'll take that. Yeah, lots of hugs and kisses this weekend. Yep, I know. I'll take that. Thank you very much, everybody. If you have not had a chance to light your own Shabbat candles this evening, or you want to light some more Shabbat candles now that you're feeling in the mood, we have Shabbat candles here to my right and to my left. As we come forward, you can say your own blessing as we join together, also in Shalom Aleichem on page 142.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeitkhem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai.
page 138. We join together for Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi likrat kalai, yalalai, 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 Pnei Shabbat nekabelai, Lecha Dodi likrat kalai, yalalai, 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 Pnei Shabbat nekabelai, Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Emanu-El hamiuchad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, l'shem tiferet b'li tehila. Lecha Dodi likrat kalai, yalalai, 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 Pnei Shabbat nekabelai, Lecha Dodi likrat kalai, yalalai, 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 Pnei Shabbat nekabelai, likrat Shabbat l'chu v'nilcha, ki mikor haberacha, merosh mekidem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshava tehila. Lecha Dodi likrat kalai, yalalai, 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 Pnei Shabbat nekabelai, Lecha Dodi likrat kalai, yalalai, 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 Pnei Shabbat nekabelai, hitorari, hitorari, ki v'orei kumi uri, 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 shir taberi, kavod Adonai alayich nigla. Lecha Dodi likrat kalai, yalalai, 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 Pnei Shabbat nekabelai, Lecha Dodi likrat kalai, yalalai, 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 Pnei Shabbat nekabelai.
Please rise as we face the entrance to the sanctuary.
Boi v'shalom, ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'tohola, toch emunei am segula, boi chala, boi chala. Lecha
Face forward.
Dodi likrat kalai, yalalai, 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 Pnei Shabbat nekabelai, Lecha Dodi likrat kalai, yalalai, 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 Pnei Shabbat nekabelai.
Page 146. We remain standing for Baruch Hu.
More yai lives for you all.
Or Lilas.
Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
As we move closer to Yom Kippur, the light outside starts to match the feeling of Shabbat as we truly bring on the evening in the back inside cover of your Sidurim. We join together for Roll into Dark.
Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. tonight, borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night.
We feel our feet firmly on the ground, our heads held high, covering our eyes, picturing that oneness of God and the oneness of Israel as we say these words together. Page 152, Shema.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
Please be seated, except if your name is Sophia Joss, and then you're coming up here. You can leave your seat or there. I have everything you need up here, except for a microphone. Where's that? I have that right here. We join together in V'ahavta with Sophia, our bat mitzvah, page 154. Take it away. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha v'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinatam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti echem me'eretz Mitzrayim, lihiyot lachem le'elohim, ani Adonai Elohechem. Emet. Thank you very much. Well done. We join together in that song of freedom, that song of liberation our ancestors have sung for so many centuries. Micha Mocha, page 158.
Yalla lai 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 lai. Yalla lai 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 lai. Yalla lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Micha Mocha bailim Adonai. Micha Mocha nedar b'kodesh. Norat tehilot osei feled, osei feled. Malchutecha ra'u banecha, bokeyam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam. Malchutecha ra'u banecha, bokeyam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam. Zeili anu Adonai imloch leolam leolam lai 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 lai. Ya la lai 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 lai. Ya la lai 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 lai. Vanemar ki far Adonai et Yaakov. Ugalo miyad chazak mimenu. Baruch atah Adonai. Gal Yisrael. Ya la lai 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 lai. Ya la lai 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 lai. Ya la lai 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 lai. Ya la lai 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 lai.
A lot of lilas in this service.
I
It's so the
didn't even plan it.
Yeah, I know. The lilas are, it's this wasn't a part of Reformed services like 100 years ago, and it's all like the Hasidic movement of Judaism to bring in like wordless melodies, nigunim, and so like suddenly in a Reformed setting, we just have like so many lilas that enable everyone to pray together, even if you don't know the Hebrew words. That was just really funny. Page 160, Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu shomrenu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu shomrenu l'chaim. Ushmor Tzeiteinu Uvoeinu L'chaim u'shalom me'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu shomrenu l'chaim v'hamidenu shomrenu l'chaim.
So the lilas are the greatest way for, if you're not quite sure the melody or you're not quite sure of the words, that's how we like everyone to participate, so that this is a communal service, not just a service for those of you who have been to last week's service or the week before, or any service in your life. And so while there wasn't lilas in Hashkivenu, but if you just feel it coming out of you, the Spirit moves you, sing with a nigunim and join in however you feel comfortable. Page 162, our prayer of joy for Shabbat, Vishamru.
Veshamru Vanei Yisrael et HaShabbat Lasot et HaShabbat Ledoratam Berit Olam. Veshamru Vanei Yisrael et HaShabbat Lasot et HaShabbat Ledoratam Berit Olam. Beini uvein bnei Yisrael Oti leolam, Oti leolam, Oti leolam. Veshamru bnei Yisrael et HaShabbat Lasot et HaShabbat Ledoratam Berit Olam. Ki sheishet yamim asa Adonai et Hashemayim v'et haaretz. Veshamru bnei Yisrael et HaShabbat Lasot et HaShabbat Ledoratam Berit Olam. Uvayom hashva'i Shabbat v'inafash, Shabbat v'inafash, Shabbat v'inafash. Veshamru bnei Yisrael et HaShabbat Lasot et HaShabbat Ledoratam Berit Olam.
So 100 years ago, or it might have just been 7, back in August of 2015, when we were just on iPhone 6S Plus and LTE was the fastest speed that we got. A video made its rounds around that time of a turtle with a straw lodged in its nose. I see some people nodding. Maybe you remember that. Maybe now you're just remembering that. It was a very sad video. It was like one of those commercials that used to be on TV. The scene of the turtle, maybe it caused you to act in that moment. Maybe you felt that turtle's pain, perhaps. But since then, the effect of plastic waste and pollution on our waterways and oceans has been in the forefront of our mind. We've been thinking more about the one-time use plastics that we use. Some ideas were good. Reusable materials like metal straws or utensils or compostable paper goods. Other ideas were god-awful, like those paper straws that disintegrated into your drinks before you could finish them. Since 2015, many folks have made personal or household choices to reduce their waste, especially those one-use plastics, and this is unquestionably a good decision. We are trashing our environment in a way that is unsustainable, and we must change. The we in that statement, however, is not just individuals. It's businesses, it's our supply chains, everyone's favorite phrase these days. It's our heavy industries. That I don't use a one-time plastic or a drink from a plastic straw isn't going to save all the turtles, but it might save one. Isn't that worth it? The history of these sort of campaigns isn't great. Earlier this week, Jay Kang published an opinion essay in the New York Times called Deshaun Watson and the Failed Politics of Personal Choice. In Kang's piece, he says, whether it's traumatic brain injuries, Colin Kaepernick's protest and subsequent blackballing, or whatever else, the point is always the same. Scandals come and go, but the NFL will always grow. When players like Ben Roethlisberger, Ray Rice, and Deshaun Watson are all credibly accused of sexual assault, the collective disgust of many is not enough to change much, let alone an organization like the NFL, who this past year saw their ratings spike 10 points from last year and who have now reached an all-time high in revenue. The personal choice to boycott such an organization is demonstrably ineffective. Just like the straw, you're not going to change much, let alone anyone's minds, maybe but your own. So I suppose our response to these corporations, these industries which enable such hurt ought to be, if you can't beat them, join them. Except that that's not the Jewish response. The bulk of Jewish literature emphasizes personal responsibility and the ability of individuals coming together to make significant improvement in our world, despite the enormity of the task ahead of us. Soon Yom Kippur will be upon us, and we will read the prayers of contrition for sins that we might not personally have committed, but have been allowed to go unchecked in our world for too long. The liturgy of our High Holy Days emphasizes our collective culpability. Even when one person transgresses the Torah, the rabbis of the Talmud interpret the verse, they will stumble upon one another, to mean that when one person sins, all become responsible. In fact, that is the reason why we say that the entirety of the Jewish people are responsible for one another. Kol Yisrael arevim zeh lezeh. Maybe more familiar to us is the command to save a life, which comes from the story of Cain and Abel. When Cain murdered Abel, God says to Cain, "The voice of your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground." But the word God uses for blood is plural, a strange difference that the rabbis take to mean not just the blood of Abel, but the blood of all of Abel's descendants, all of his children and children's children who will never be born. The rabbis of the Talmud take this to mean that anyone who destroys one soul from the Jewish people, it is as if they have destroyed an entire world. And anyone who sustains but one life has sustained an entire world. The injunction to save a life is so strong that we are permitted, and we say this often, to disregard all the laws of Torah but three: to commit murder itself, to commit idolatry, and sexual assault. Last week, the New York State government passed legislation requiring all art museums which feature Nazi-looted art to place a placard next to each individual piece indicating its provenance. This legislation was passed to increase awareness of the Holocaust in a state which, despite having the largest Jewish population outside of Israel, a 2020 survey found that 60% of residents of the state of New York did not know that 6 million Jews died in the Holocaust. And even more did not know what the Holocaust was. A placard is not going to prevent future genocide and stop anti-Semitism tomorrow. That's just not how this works. But increased awareness and education around the Holocaust will teach Americans about the effect of hate, of complicit silence, of the banality of evil. In Pirkei Avot, Rabbi Tarfon teaches, Lo alecha hamlacha ligmor, velo bnei chorin lehibatel mimena. It is not your duty to finish the work, but neither are you free to desist from it. The work in this case isn't a project at your office or homework that you bring home from school. You have to complete that. Your teachers are expecting it. And it's not completing a 1,000-piece puzzle, as difficult as that may be. The work is the mission of the Jewish people. It's God's work to heal the world, tikkun olam. Maybe eschewing one-use plastics isn't going to heal the world. Probably not. Maybe directing your entertainment dollars somewhere else besides the NFL won't change their tacit support of brain trauma and sexual assault. But what if, like the art museums of New York, which indicating pieces were looted by the Nazis, or single-use plastics were maybe not used as much, or what if, like NFL games, like these placards, came with a warning about their widely known consequences? We are all well aware that millions of miles of trash litter the Pacific Ocean, never dissolving, only breaking down into smaller and smaller pieces of plastic that end up into the food we eat and the water that we drink. Maybe we would hesitate before picking up a plastic straw. Maybe we'd become more mindful about carrying around reusable water bottles and utensils if every single-use plastic came with a warning to say how long it was going to take before it could decompose. As for football, today, playing football does greatly increase the likelihood a player will develop a life-threatening brain injury that could lead them to harm or lead to the harm of others. Adding to that also that the National Football League still permitted one of its teams to pay someone with credible sexual assault allegations by 22 women, a guaranteed $230 million over 5 years after the allegations came to light. Maybe we'd tune in a little differently if a banner ran or a PSA was included at every game describing the dangers of the sport or what the sport has endorsed. These are big problems, bigger than any one person and with numbers that are literally unimaginable. That said, can we really ignore the ugly truth in front of us? I'm not advocating for an all-out ban of single-use plastics or the NFL. It's just not possible, it's not reasonable, it's not going to happen. But I also don't want us to close our eyes and pretend that a problem is not really a problem. As Rabbi Spike likes to say, our mission as a synagogue and as the Jewish people is to move the world from where it is to where it could be. We are Jews committed to the repair and the healing of ourselves and our world. Tikkun olam. We cannot excuse ourselves from the work that has to be done just because the size of the problem seems too great. Shabbat shalom. We join together in those collective words raised up by our ancestors for thousands of years. Page 164, we rise for the Amidah.
Adonai sifatai tiftahu fi agita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei HaKol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, U'mevii Gula Livnei B'neihem, Lemhan Shemo B'Ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham V'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Atah Rab LaHoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechalkel Chaim B'Chesed, Mechayeh HaKol B'Rachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Micha Mocha Ba'al Gevurot, Umido Melech, Melech Memitu Michaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'neman atah l'chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'simcha kadosh, ukdoshim b'chol yom yahalu chasela. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
We take a few moments for ourselves, some time for our own personal thoughts and prayers, or to read those prayers of our Sidurim. When your prayers have concluded, I invite you to be seated.
Yihiu l'ratzon imreifi v'hegyon libi lefanecha Adonai tzuri Adonai tzuri v'goali
It's my pleasure to invite up co-president of our congregation, Bill Kellert, to give us a few announcements about a very boring and uneventful time ahead in the congregation's life, because nothing exciting is happening in the next 2 months. Do you want to use this or which?
Work. Good Shabbos.
Shabbat Shalom.
It's wonderful to see you all and be able to celebrate Shabbat together tonight. I'm going to use this one. Yeah. First, a thank you to our ushers this evening, Ann and Norm Mandel, Cindy and Stan Eisenberg, and Nora and Steve Florsheim. Truly appreciate your help tonight. And congratulations to Sophia Joss and her family on becoming a bat mitzvah this Shabbos. Now a few events. Tomorrow at 8:30, we'll have Kaddish Minyan on the Goldstein patio, followed by Chevra Torah at 9 o'clock. And then at 11 o'clock, we'll have a Shabbat Kiddush, that's kid-ish, service for families with kids in kindergarten through 5th grade. And note that there's no Sunday school this weekend due to the Labor Day holiday. Next week on September 9th, the Sisterhood will be hosting a Shabbat dinner, and we'll also have a prospective member Nash and services as well. And that Sunday, which is a busy day, the 11th of September, will be the Dick Wilson Brotherhood Golf Tournament at Bears Best, where we'll be honoring Elliot Siegel. And that same Sunday, the 11th, at 2 o'clock, is part 1 of the encore presentation of Why the Jews. As I mentioned last week, if you missed it the first time, be sure to register now to ensure that you get to attend. And then Saturday, September 17th, it's opening day for the high holidays. At 6:30 that evening, we'll be having a dessert and service in observance of Slichot. And these are just a few of the activities going on here at Temple Emanu-El. I encourage you all to review the emails and our website for everything else going on, and come join us. And if you're visiting, a prospective member or a new member, we'd appreciate it if you would introduce yourself to me and the clergy during the Oneg, so that we can personally welcome you, if we've not done so already. And a bit of a somber note. Did you know it was this week, exactly 50 years ago, during the 1972 Olympics held in Munich, where we lost 11 Israeli athletes. And finally last year, 49 years later, as part of the Tokyo Olympics opening ceremonies, an official commemoration of those who died took place. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Yeah, you're going to hold on to that. So we come together for Shabbat to find some relaxation, rejuvenation for ourselves, but we also do so to find the joy being with one another. And so if you've had something, a simcha, a birthday, an anniversary, you got a good grade on a test, anything that brought a smile to your face from this past Shabbat to this Shabbat, or maybe it's happening tomorrow, then raise your hand, tell us your name, and share with us that simcha that you are celebrating.
Shabbat Shalom. My name is Wayne Joss. Our daughter Sophia's bat mitzvah is tomorrow. We are very excited.
Mazel tov. Yes. Others, anything bringing a smile to your face. Yep, I see Lizzie right back there too.
I am Ariane Balzer-Carroll, and I get to be 35 on Sunday, and somehow I've survived all 35 years.
Wow, Mazel tov.
My name's Lizzie, and my mom's birthday's this week.
Oh.
Hi, I am Jillian, and I'm the proud Bobby of Mitzi, who's sitting behind me, and it is her 8th birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday. Others. Well, my name is Max Miller, and I am celebrating because after 2 long years of home ownership, Rachel and I finally completed a big house project, which was having a usable backyard. And so we are very happy about that. And in a few weeks, we'll even get to step on the grass. So be very exciting.
I am Jessica Tillum, and my son had his 4-month checkup today and was all good.
Nice. Well, for all of those things that we're thinking about that are in our heart and that have been said aloud, we join together in a Shehechianu, a prayer giving gratitude for God for enabling us to reach this wonderful day.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
As we often say, a synagogue is a community not just for celebrations, but perhaps even more important for supporting one another when we're struggling. We're struggling in health, with our spirituality, mentally, however it is, we come together as a community to help one another. And as a community, we are particularly praying for the healing of Alvin Levy and Kashka Misgogi, Cindy Hirsch, David Ben Label, Benny Edelson, Asher Charlesmer, Deborah Gilbert, Harris Friedman, Brett Samsky, Shmuel Ben Devora, Meir Ben Rachmiel Vidina, Ashish Sharma, Ken Schiffer, Kathy Cook, Karnina Michal Bat Yitzchak Vitova, and Jennifer Herman. If you are praying for the healing of yourself or for a loved one, I invite you to say that name aloud or in your heart as my hand passes over the room. Steve Black. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We join together in a prayer of healing, Mishaberach Lecholim, which can be found on page 371. Please rise. And if you'd like to put your arms around one another, those you came with, if you feel so comfortable, as we hold one another close and pray for healing. We remain standing for Kiddush. I'd like to invite up Sophia back up to the bima for our blessing over our grape juice. And you can actually pick up your Kiddush cup on the way up here and bring it on up. And I'd like to invite anyone else who has not yet become bar or bat mitzvah, if you're under the age of 13, to please join Sophia up here with us so we can bless our grape juice, our wine, that's just grape juice, together. Come on up. You can get started.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. Amen. L'chaim.
L'chaim.
That's for you to drink. Microphones. We're going to remain standing as we turn to page 586 for Aleinu L'Shabeach. Can everyone here help me with opening the ark doors gently? I will take that.
Slide it this way. There you go. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, lateit gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoye haratzot, velo samanu kemishpachot hadama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, vanachnu korim, ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד. Ushemo, Ushemo, Ushemo echad.
Close the ark, please. Well, if that doesn't melt your heart. Thank you all very much. You can all go and have a seat. Please be seated. As we come to the close of our service, we do so in memory of loved ones who are no longer with us, who have died in recent days or in many years past. In our community, we are thinking of Lisa Brill mourning the loss of her brother, Stephen Feldman, and those families in the period of Shloshim for the loss of Sheila Morris, William Cohen, and Kenneth Zoller. And for those yard sites which occur around this Shabbat, Yeshayahu Alush, Brenda Benarak, Estelle Bogdanoff, Beula Brody, Jean Colbert, Adele First, Leonard Gaby, Jack Gold, Louis Goldstein, Arthur Goodelman, Solomon Grazier, Leonard Holland, David Jacobson, Judith Kallman, Rose Kaliski, Leah Mazier, Francis McGuff, Esther Moranis, Hetzi Miller, Leah Nassimi, Sarah Odrezin, Lena Rubenstein, Beula Schneidig, Harry Schwartz, Esther Seldes, Esther Schendelman, Ida Sherman, Norman Spector, Matthew Steinberg, Benjamin Stempler, Rose Tuckman, and Oded Zukro. If you are in the first 30 days mourning the loss of a loved one, and you are here with us this Shabbat, I invite you to please rise and remain standing so our congregation may honor you. If you are in the first year mourning the loss of a loved one, I invite you to please rise and remain standing so our congregation may recognize you. And if you are commemorating a yard site, the death anniversary of a loved one around this Shabbat, I invite you to please rise and remain standing. And if it is your custom to rise with those who mourn, for the 6 million who perished in the Shoah, and for those who have no one to say Kaddish for them, we do so now at this time on page 598, joining together in Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Bi'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mivarach le'alam u'almei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudasha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Say shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, ve'imru, amen. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al 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 kol Yisrael.
Shabbat shalom. Please everyone join us out in the lobby for a little oneg.